This here is my response to the Of Mice and Men OCL coding challenge. So first off, we start off with the random and correct number declarations. Then we have our enter button. Here we're declaring an integer for man, mice, and now we have a string for correct compare and guess number. So correct compare is what we're going to compare, and guess number is what the user has inputted. And then we're going to create two character arrays for the guess number and the correct number. So our first for loop we have running about 4 times for the number of numbers in guess number, so 4. However, if the number is below 4, we're going to say that it's an invalid number. We're going to show that to the user. We're going to empty whatever the user has inputted, and then we're going to break the for loop. Now, if it is the correct length, we're going to firstly check if it's the correct number. And if it is the correct number, we're going to say that the number was guess correct. Number was whatever the correct number was. We're going to hide the enter button. We're going to show the restart button. We're going to empty the user text box, and we're going to hide the user input box, so they are forced to press the restart button if they want to go again, and then we break the for loop. However, if it isn't, then we go on to say that if the guest list x, so the element x of guest list, which is the guess number, is equal to the element x of the correct list, we're going to put a placeholder in that index. It's going to be x, and then we're going to add 1 to the mice. Now the mice is where if the number is if it's the correct number in the correct position, they have 1 mice, and if it's the correct number in the wrong position, it's going to be a man, and we're going to go into man shortly in another for loop. Okay, now our second for loop, the first part of the code is the exact same, but this is a man, so we're going to make a separate character, so temporary character, and we're going to make that the element x in guest list. Then we're going to run a second for loop in the second for loop, and what that's going to do is it's going to compare whatever the user is inputted in that x position, and we're going to compare that to whatever is in, well, we're going to compare it to every single number in the correct list, and we're just making sure that the temporary character is not x, so it's not a placeholder. And if they do match, then we add 1 to man, and then we put the placeholder to that position in the correct list. And we also make temporary character x to show that we've you searched that already, and then it's going to break the for loop, the second for loop, not the first one, and it's going to change guest list x to temporary character. So if the number wasn't matched, then nothing should change, but if it is, then we change it to x. And now here we just have the code for deciding the difference between mice, mouse, and man and men. So it's just saying that if it's above 1, then it will be mice and men, and if it's below, so 0, it's going to be also mice and men, and if it is 1, it's going to be mouse and man. And then we also reset our variables at the end for man and mice. Okay, and our last bit, we have on the form loading, we're going to preemptively choose a random number between 1000 and 999, obviously because we want a 4-digit number, and then a restart button where we will again generate a random 4-digit number. We're going to hide the necessary buttons, show the necessary things, so the enter button and the user input box, and we're going to empty the label. Okay, and now for our game, we're going to enter a guess. We're going to put 1, 1, 2, 3. We'll see that we have 1 man, which is 2. So correct number, wrong position. Here we just have the number displaying for our purposes, so we can easily guess the number. However, in reality, it wouldn't be there. Now we're just testing what would happen if we just put 2s in. Now in bad code scenarios, we'll have 4 mice or 4 men. However, we may manage to do it so we only get 1 man, so we only check number 2 once. Here we see that we have 1 mouse and 2 men, so a 0 and a 4 for our men. And we correctly, so it shows us a number. We can press restart. We put 1, 1, 1, 1. We have 1 mouse, so 4, 4, 1, 4. Now we just put 4s in. Here we get 3 mice because we have 3 numbers in the correct position. And we don't have like 4 men, for example, just because there's 4 correct numbers. And then here we guess the number correctly.